Right now, as you're watching this video, there are shadowy groups of powerful elites making decisions that will alter the course of your life, your country, and humanity itself. They meet in secret, they control vast fortunes, and they operate beyond the reach of governments and law enforcement. These aren't conspiracy theories, these are documented organizations with real members, real influence, and real power over global events. What you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you view the world around you. Deep within the ancient redwoods of Northern California, where towering trees have stood for centuries, the world's most powerful men gather each summer to participate in rituals that would seem impossible to believe if they weren't actually happening. Every July, a peculiar migration begins. Presidents, Supreme Court justices, Fortune 500 CEOs, and media moguls quietly slip away from the public eye, traveling to a 2,700-acre forest sanctuary known as Bohemian Grove. Here, beneath the canopy of trees that have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, these titans of power shed their public personas and don something far more mysterious. The Grove's guest list reads like a shadow government roster. Every Republican president since 1923 has walked these forest paths, along with Democratic leaders, tech billionaires, and foreign dignitaries. They come not for leisure, but for something far more intriguing. It was allegedly within these woods in 1942 that the Manhattan Project was conceived, the secret program that would change the course of human history. Policy decisions, political appointments, and billion-dollar deals are rumored to crystallize during casual lakeside conversations, far from the prying eyes of voters and shareholders. But perhaps most unsettling are the ceremonies themselves. Each gathering begins with the cremation of care, a theatrical ritual performed before a 40-foot concrete owl, an ancient symbol of wisdom and death. Members, draped in robes, participate in what can only be described as mock human sacrifices, complete with druids, torchlight processions, and the burning of effigies. When infiltrator Alex Jones secretly recorded these ceremonies in the year 2000, the world glimpsed something that defied explanation: grown men, leaders of the free world, engaging in practices that seemed torn from another century. The Grove maintains its secrets through a fortress of silence. A 33-year waiting list ensures exclusivity, while private security forces patrol the perimeter. Members sign lifetime confidentiality agreements, creating an unbreachable wall of silence around what transpires in those California woods. Those who have tried to expose the Grove's activities have found themselves facing legal action, career destruction, and worse. As the summer fog rolls through the redwoods each July, obscuring the ancient trees and the modern mysteries they shelter, one must wonder, in an age of transparency and digital surveillance, how does such a gathering continue to operate in complete secrecy? And perhaps more troubling still, what decisions made in those shadowed groves are shaping the world we wake up to each morning. On the grounds of Yale University stands a windowless stone fortress known only as the Tomb, home to America's most powerful secret society, where death's head and crossbones mark the entrance to mysteries that have shaped nations. Founded in 1832, Skull and Bones operates under rules as rigid as they are exclusive. Each year, precisely 15 Yale seniors are chosen, not for their academic brilliance alone, but for something far more calculated: family lineage, inherited wealth, and most importantly, the potential to wield power in the decades to come. These carefully selected few will join the ranks of what may be the most influential network in American history. The society's roster reads like a shadow government. 3 U.S. presidents have emerged from its ranks, along with countless CIA directors, Supreme Court justices, and titans of industry. They call themselves Bonesmen, and everyone else, every person outside their circle, they dismiss with a single, telling word: barbarians. It's a worldview that divides humanity into 2 categories: those who belong to their order and those who serve it. What happens within the tomb's walls defies the ivy-covered respectability of Yale's campus. Initiation rituals, according to leaked accounts, involve new members lying naked in coffins while confessing their deepest secrets and sexual histories. The society allegedly hoards macabre trophies, Geronimo's skull, stolen from the great Apache leader's grave, and Nazi memorabilia collected like dark prizes. These artifacts rest somewhere within their headquarters, surrounded by meeting rooms designed to mimic ancient crypts and chambers built for rituals that remain shrouded in absolute secrecy. The tomb itself serves as both sanctuary and archive. Its secret library contains meticulous records of every member who has ever passed through its doors, documenting their activities, their connections, their rise to power. For nearly 2 centuries, these bonesmen have moved through American institutions like pieces on a chessboard, strategically positioned in government agencies, financial powerhouses, media empires, and intelligence services. They advance each other's interests with the precision of a well-oiled machine, their loyalty bound not by country or creed, but by something darker and more enduring. As America's political and economic landscape shifts with each passing decade, one constant remains: the quiet influence of those who once lay in coffins within the tomb's walls. In a nation built on democratic ideals, how much power rests in the hands of 15 people chosen each year by those who came before them? What if the world's most consequential decisions aren't made in government chambers or boardrooms, but behind closed doors where no cameras roll and no records are kept? Every spring, approximately 150 of the planet's most powerful individuals quietly gather at a luxury hotel. Prime ministers cancel public appearances. Tech billionaires clear their schedules. Central bank governors slip away from their posts. They arrive not as representatives of their nations or corporations, but as members of something far more exclusive: the Bilderberg Group. Founded in 1954 at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, this annual conference was ostensibly created to foster cooperation between Europe and North America during the Cold War's early years. Yet what began as diplomatic dialogue has evolved into something altogether more intriguing. The guest list now reads like a shadow government of the global elite: royalty, presidents, tech billionaires, and academic luminaries who shape policy and public opinion across continents. Inside these meetings, conversations flow under the protection of the Chatham House Rule, a peculiar arrangement that allows participants to use any information they receive, but forbids them from revealing its source. This creates a unique environment where the world's power brokers can coordinate without accountability, sharing strategies and aligning interests while maintaining plausible deniability. Topics of discussion have reportedly ranged from artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency to population control and global economic restructuring. Critics point to an unsettling pattern of major world events that seem to echo discussions held within Bilderberg's secretive halls: the creation of the European Union, the Iraq War, the 2008 financial crisis, all allegedly topics of conversation before they reshaped our world. Coincidence, perhaps, or evidence of something more coordinated? The group's complete media blackout and lack of public records make it impossible to know for certain. Each year, as these 150 individuals return to their positions of influence, they carry with them not just information, but consensus. No votes are taken, no resolutions passed, yet somehow, in the months that follow, policies align and global events unfold with remarkable synchronicity. Perhaps it's simply the natural result of great minds thinking alike. Or perhaps there's something more deliberate at work, hidden behind a veil of diplomatic courtesy and luxury hotel suites. Imagine for a moment that the world's most powerful decisions aren't made in the halls of governments or corporate boardrooms you see on the news, but in the shadows by 300 individuals whose very existence remains a whispered secret. In the hidden corridors of power, where bloodlines stretch back centuries and wealth flows like ancient rivers, there allegedly exists an organization so secretive that most have never heard its name: the Committee of 300. According to claims made by former British intelligence officer John Coleman, this shadowy consortium brings together the world's most powerful families, royalty, and corporate dynasties under a single, terrifying purpose. Coleman painted a chilling picture of an assembly where the British royal family sits alongside the Rothschild banking dynasty and the Rockefeller empire. These aren't merely wealthy individuals seeking profit, he claimed, but generational power holders who view themselves as fundamentally superior to ordinary humanity. In their eyes, the masses exist not as equals, but as subjects to be managed, controlled, and ultimately reduced. The reach of this alleged committee extends far beyond private wealth. Coleman suggested they wield global institutions like chess pieces on an invisible board. The World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the United Nations, even major pharmaceutical companies all supposedly serve as tools in a grand design for population control and global governance. Wars erupt, economies collapse, and societies crumble not through random chance, but through careful orchestration. Perhaps most disturbing is the ultimate goal Coleman attributed to this shadowy assembly, not merely control, but a systematic reduction of humanity itself. Through engineered pandemics, calculated conflicts, and designed economic disasters, they allegedly seek to winnow the world's population down to just 1 billion souls. What would emerge from such devastation would be a new feudal system, with the committee as eternal rulers over the remnants of civilization. The question lingers in the silence between Coleman's accusations and the world we see around us. In an age where global events seem increasingly interconnected, where crises cascade across continents with frightening synchronicity, one must wonder, are we witnessing the natural chaos of human civilization or the careful execution of a plan 3 centuries in the making? In the shadowed halls of ancient European palaces, certain bloodlines have wielded power for over a millennium, their influence so profound yet so hidden that most of the world remains unaware of their very existence. They call themselves the Black Nobility, a network of aristocratic families whose roots stretch back through centuries of papal influence and imperial dominance. The Orsini, who once produced 5 popes. The Breakspear, whose lineage connects to the only English pope in history. The Aldobrandini and Farnese dynasties, whose names appear in Vatican records spanning nearly 800 years. These are not merely wealthy families resting on ancient laurels, but active architects of modern power, their influence flowing through channels most never think to examine. Behind the ornate facades of their ancestral estates lies a web of financial control that allegedly reaches into the Vatican Bank itself, extending through major European financial institutions and, according to some researchers, into the darker corners of organized crime. Through strategic marriages that read like diplomatic treaties and business partnerships that span generations, these families have maintained their grip on levers of power that governments rise and fall without ever truly touching. Their modern operations remain deliberately obscured, conducted through an intricate maze of trusts, foundations, and shell companies that make tracing their true wealth nearly impossible. Yet their representatives can be found in positions of influence across banking, government, and religious institutions worldwide. The foundation for this contemporary empire was built upon centuries of what history books politely term colonial ventures. The slave trade, opium wars, and systematic exploitation of entire continents that generated wealth so vast it continues to compound centuries later. Today, as global events unfold with seemingly inexplicable coordination, some researchers point to these ancient bloodlines as the hidden conductors of a worldwide orchestra. They possess not just financial resources that dwarf national treasuries, but something perhaps more valuable: institutional knowledge passed down through generations about the true mechanisms of power and control. Their methods, refined over 1,000 years of practice, allow them to shape world events while remaining invisible to public scrutiny. The question that lingers in the minds of those who study such matters is not whether these families exist, their genealogies are well documented. Rather, it is the extent of their continuing influence that remains shrouded in mystery. In a world that believes it has moved beyond the age of kings and emperors, perhaps the most successful rulers are simply those who convinced us they no longer exist. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found this video interesting, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.